Hey,
Hello.
hello. Running from one thing to the next today. Oh,
Mallory. Hi.
Good morning.
good morning.
Mallory, is your background picture up by Course Gold or like in the Sierras?
It is Lake Tahoe.
Oh, very nice.
Good morning.
Good
You know,
morning, guys.
I used to live by
Good
there.
morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm jealous. I would love to live near there.
I lived in Gardnerville and Minden, which is below Lake Tahoe. And when I was a kid, we used to swim in that, and it was amazing. My mom used to say, "Get out of the water, your lips are blue," because it's very cold there indeed. Okay.
Very cold here today.
Yes. Pam would know. She was out walking, and it was 37 degrees.
37 degrees. I had my mittens on. I had my beanie on. Yeah. I don't think it's much warmer than that right now, but it's not. I think it's a little warmer. How's everybody doing?
Good, good.
Good. Hey, first question to start us off. And please unmute yourself to answer. How many of you have received an invitation from Tech Connect for a Zoom account?
I
I
have.
have not. No,
Okay.
no.
Who
I
just said,
haven't.
who just
Me?
said they have not?
I haven't.
Oh no, I've gotten one. I'm sorry.
Okay. So Helen, have you gotten one?
No, I don't believe so. I've only gotten like these invites, nothing else.
Okay. Who else said no?
I didn't get one.
I did. I haven't gotten one.
Really? Okay. Let me make a
Let me
note of
write-
that.
Let me write. Do you want me to write that down for you?
Well, I'm gonna write it down
My
because
work.
I'm going to
I'm
then
gonna Zoom me.
I'm gonna email Tech Connect because they told me they were done, that they've done all of these.
Okay, so Helen, Joseph, Marcus.
No, I have
No,
one.
Joseph has his, yeah.
Oh,
Anthony, Marcus, Helen.
I thought you said, okay, now Joseph, make sure that you know that it's not the Zoom meeting, like these invites. but it's
Right. Yeah, they
Tech
sent me a
Connect.
personal. They sent me one instead of my account.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, it
Cool.
should have come from Tech Connect and then somebody's name attached to Tech Connect. So if you would, Marcus, Anthony, Helen, if you guys just do a scan of your email later to be sure, and it should come to your BC email. And then if you don't have it, you don't need to do anything. But if you find it, that it's like somewhere hidden, just email me and say, hey, Pam, let me know. Because this afternoon I'll email Donna at Tech Connect again. And it's been kind of a long back and forth, but I was under the impression they were all done. So
Helen, you were having problems with your BC email account. Is that
Yeah,
right?
I was. I think it's logged in now, but for some reason, every time I would try to log in, it said that I didn't have an account, even though I was able to log into Inside BC. And I was using the same credentials, but for some reason, it just kept telling me like that it was an error and that it wasn't, that the account wasn't available, I guess, or just, but I was able to get it logged in now, and it seems that it's still logged in. So if there's any issues, I'll like make sure to let you guys know. But I think right now it's, the only thing is that whenever I would send emails like for checking in, instead of sending them, even though I would click send, it would save it as a draft instead of actually sending it. And I didn't know like if there was a setting or something that was keeping that. And I didn't even, it wouldn't even tell me, it would say sent. And then I noticed that like my draft inbox was like really full. And then I was like, why is that? And I looked at it, it was all my check-in emails were just like saved as drafts. Everything was there, but just saved as draft. But that's why I'm just checking in through like the Renegade Hub email. That way, like I can for sure check in and it gets there and everything.
Okay, so for you guys who don't have that yet, that's going to be the first thing on my list is I will check in with Tech Connect and see what's going on. But like I said, if you would just check, do a scan to be sure. Donna from Tech Connect is who it's probably from, although I can't guarantee. So I would just check for Tech Connect. Okay, so why do we need this? Why are we training on Zoom? That's what we're going to start with. And I talked to Tracy about this. One of the things I noticed, because I get the Renegade Hub emails on my iPad. So anytime anybody sends you a ticket, I see it come up. I think there are a lot of cases where we could save some of the back and forth that goes through. First of all, it goes back and forth to email multiple times and to multiple people, which I think gets confusing when they start like by talking to Marcus and then it goes to Helen and then it goes to Joseph because they're spreading it out throughout the day. We could save some time if instead of doing that, when we realize there's going to be some back and forth, we invite them to a Zoom meeting and just chat with them. And I know that's a different way of doing things, and it's going to probably change the way you do your shifts, but I think it can save us some time, and I think it's going to be able to provide our students better customer service if we can pull them into Zoom instead of, you know, the emails going back and forth. And one of the things that we have heard from our folks who are doing the student information desk is that students are kind of sick of the email back and forth because they get that with financial aid, they get that with A&R, and it takes a long time to get questions answered. Hey guys, somebody needs to mute themselves because I'm hearing things in the background and it's a little distracting while I'm talking. So if you could, thanks. So we're just trying to offer our students the best customer service we can. And we've been specifically asked from student services if we could offer a Zoom option for our help. So that's why we're doing this, and that's why we're having this training today. And my next thing on the agenda is, when is it appropriate to invite students to Zoom? And you guys know, anybody who's handled tickets, I've seen these tickets where it starts with the student going, I can't send an assignment. I can't open my teacher's PowerPoint. Well, that's not a lot of information. And if the emails go back and forth like that, you can tell that's going to be something that drags on for a long time. The first thing I would do when you get something like, I can't send an assignment, I can't access my Canvas class, is send an email for clarifying information like, tell me what's the specific problem that you are having. And then when you realize that it's a problem that can't be answered immediately, that's when I'm going to suggest that you try to schedule a Zoom call with the student. So that's not the first email you send them. So don't immediately go, hey, let's schedule a Zoom call, because you need more information. You don't know if that's the appropriate way to go or not. If it's something that you can easily handle, you know, in the next email, go ahead and take care of it. If it's something that you need more information on, that's when I'm suggesting that the next thing you do is try to schedule a Zoom call. Now here's where it gets tricky, because let's say I'm Marcus. Marcus, I'm just going to pick on you because you're the first student in my window here. I'm Marcus, and my shift is ending in 30 minutes. And I email the student and say, hey, can you schedule a Zoom call with me? And if they come back and say, sure, I've got 1 o'clock free, can you do it then? Well, Marcus isn't working at 1 o'clock, and Marcus probably can't schedule for whoever the person is working at 1 o'clock. Now, if that's the only time you can do it, then my suggestion is going to be, and this gets a little bit tricky, is that you leave an email for Renegade Hub saying, hey, this student needs to schedule something at 1 o'clock. And you guys all have a copy of the schedule, so you should be able to open it and see who's looking at who's working at 1, and maybe sending them a personal email is appropriate as well. That should be okay because they're on at that time. However, they might tell you they've already scheduled something for that time. But ideally, what you want to do is schedule a meeting for them to meet with you the next time you are working. That is always our first choice. First, see if you can get them on the shift you're in right now. And next, try to get them into your next shift or a shift you were working that week. Only schedule for somebody else if you absolutely have to. But we know that we are open from 7 a.m. we go to 8 p.m., right? Tracy, we're still going to 8, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you have to, then you schedule for somebody else, but you have to let them know so that it's not a surprise when they come into their shift. Are there any questions on any of that?
I just wanted to remind folks that for those who have decided that they will not be using Confer Zoom, you know, there's still a responsibility to try to figure out what the problem is. But if you find that you don't want to do a Zoom session with someone, please either email me or Pam so that we can schedule or look at something. Okay. Again, for those of you who've opted not to use Confer Zoom, if you have a problem, sorry.
Do we have people who've said they can't use Confer Zoom?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So again, when it's appropriate to invite them is when things are going back and forth, and try to get them in your shift first, and then try to get them in the next shift that you have available. All right. So what I want to do is I'm going to go into my Confer Zoom account and just show you a couple of things that you need. I'm not going into the kind of detail that I go into when I'm teaching faculty how to use this or anything. I'm just going to show you the things that you need to make sure that you can set up a meeting. And I know some of you don't have accounts yet, so you might forget this by the time that you use it for the first time. That's fine. If you send me an email, say, hey, I forgot how to turn on a waiting room, or I forgot how to schedule a meeting, totally fine with me. I'll set up a little quick Zoom with you the next time I can.
Well, and we can also send you this. Pam is recording this session.
I am recording this, yeah. Okay, so what I'm doing, and this is what you'll do to get into Zoom as soon as you have your account, and for you guys who already have your account, you could do it right now. I'm going to conferzoom.org. So I'm just typing that up in my address bar at the top, conferzoom.org. And then I'll see this screen when I first come over here. Some of you guys have already done this because you helped with Flex Week, and we set up accounts even though they didn't work. But now they will work because we did it the right way. So you're just going to click sign in when you come here. And it's going to take you to your profile picture. Now, guys, it's really tempting to use your personal link to set up a meeting with other students, but I'm going to tell you, please don't do that. And I'm going to tell you why in just a second. So if I had a meeting with one of you guys, I have no issue with, okay, so this is really easy. I don't have to set up a meeting. This is my personal link. I just copy that. I come up here to my address bar, I paste it, and I can hit enter and it'll set up a meeting for me. Now I don't want to do that because I don't want to have 2 meetings going at one time. But if I hit enter, it would go into my office. I send that same link to you, you do the same thing, and I didn't have to schedule that meeting. Now, you can do that with your friends. You can do that with, if you need to meet with Tracy, if you need to meet with me, that's totally fine. Do not do that with students that you don't know that you are meeting with for this purpose. And the reason why is, consider this, like you guys, most of you have seen my physical office in the library. Consider this my office in the library. And I've just given you the key to my office and said, here, come into my office. And you can pop in anytime you want to. No, I don't want that for people that I don't know. So I don't want to use that. I want to go through the process, even though it takes a little bit longer, of scheduling a meeting. And guys, if anything I'm talking about you can't see, if you just move the pictures around, if you've got the pictures open, that's probably why you can't see it, because their pictures are blocking things. But I'm going over here on the left-hand side now. I'm just going to show you how to set up a quick meeting. So what I'm going to do is I'm in profile. I want to go to meetings. So I click on meeting. And I just moved pictures. I got to move them again because they're not blocking where I can schedule a meeting. I want to see this little box over here that says schedule a meeting. Again, if you don't see that, move pictures so you can see it. And this is actually a pretty easy process. You just got to you need to hit that button, schedule a meeting. And you do a few things. So let's say I'm meeting with Marcus. I'm just going to put Marcus meeting right there. And if I want to put a description, and especially if you're scheduling out a couple of days, you might do this. I'm going to put Marcus can't submit Canvas assignment. And that's just to remind me, why did I set this up to begin with? When I look at my meeting, I'm going to know right then what this meeting is about. So I'm going to put a little description there. You don't have to, but I think it's super helpful, especially if in 2 days I'm going to forget why I set up this meeting. All right, and then I don't need the template part. I'm going to skip down here to when. Click the little calendar. My meeting with Marcus is going to be on Friday the 13th. Ooh, Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
I didn't know that this Friday was the 13th. Makes sense though. 2020, right? Okay. So this meeting is going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm not setting up hour-long meetings, and you shouldn't either. These meetings should be 20 to 30 minutes long, maximum. Do not set up for anything longer than that. Maybe even 15. Let's say 15. I think 15 is a good amount. Okay. So he gets a 15-minute meeting. I'm going to tell you, I don't think passcode is important. Other people will disagree with me. I'm going to uncheck passcode because I think it confuses people, but I'm going to check waiting room. And here's why. I want to make sure if this meeting is with Marcus, Marcus is the only person I let into that meeting. And what happens, you guys all saw this, I hope. When I set up this meeting today, I had my waiting room enabled. You did not immediately come into the meeting. You went to a waiting room. I get a little message that says you are waiting in the waiting room, and I have the option to admit you or to not admit you. So your name pops up and it says Marcus Schmidt is in the waiting room. I click admit. But let's say instead I get Joe Smith is in the waiting room. Well, I didn't invite Joe to this meeting. I don't know who Joe is, and I'm not going to admit him to my meeting. I will send a message.
Pam, is that an example that students who set up a meeting with a student for a help session should know what the student's name is?
Yes, for sure. And here's what I would do too, guys. When you tell somebody you want to set up a Zoom meeting with them, you're going to have to send them the link. And I'm going to show you where you get that. And when you send that link, I want you to send a message that says, please be sure when you come in, this is the name that I see, whatever name that you have been addressing the whole time. And you can say, I won't admit you if I don't see your name or your email address or whatever they normally use. Some people don't realize that they're coming in. Like, for instance, my daughter uses my account. She will change the name on my account. And then when I go in the next time, if I'm not logged into Zoom, sometimes her name is what's going to show up. Well, I'm not going to admit Madison to the meeting. I'm going to admit Pam to the meeting. So make sure that they know you're only going to admit them if they're, and sometimes that's confusing because they can't see what name they're coming in from, but you can send a message saying, I don't recognize the name. Okay. All right. So this is really all I need to do. I've turned off the passcode. I turned on the waiting room, and that is not the default. You need to make sure that you turn that on. And then I don't need to change any of this if I don't want to. None of that's important. If yours automatically records, you might turn that off because a lot of people are not going to be happy if they hear that they're being recorded. Okay. And then all I do is I save this meeting. Okay, this is a meeting for Marcus and I. Now, so once I click save, I get all the meeting details that come up. And this is everything about my meeting. Here's all I care about. Invite link. I copy that, hit Control-C, and I start an email to Marcus where I say, hey, Marcus, we are meeting at this time. Here is the link you need to get in. Please make sure that your name shows up when you come into the meeting because that's the only person I'm going to admit to the meeting. And that's all I have to do other than show up at that time for my meeting. Okay, are there questions over any of this? Do I need to? Go ahead, Helen.
Sorry. I was just wondering, so you said to turn off the automatically record, but did you want us to record the meetings? No. Like ask them? No? Okay. Okay. No problem.
I think so. There's positives and negatives to recording. Positives, if they forget what you said, they could go back and look at the recording. But I honestly feel like our students are probably more concerned about the fact that you're recording them than that. And so just to put everybody at ease, I would just turn off the recording. If you forget, it's not a big deal. You have the option to do that once you start your meeting. You guys can't see it right now, but if you're the host of the meeting, you can pause the recording, or you can stop it completely. But I would just turn it off when you set it up so you don't have to worry about it. But like I said, if you forget, no big deal. But some people really don't like being recorded.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Okay. So this is really all the detail I want to go into with you guys. There are settings, there's all kinds of stuff you can do, but you don't need any of that because you can do all of that right here where you set up your meetings. It can be a little confusing and difficult to remember some of this. So like I said, you'll have this recording. I don't care at all if you come back to me and ask hey, Pam, I forgot. How do you turn off the recording? Or how do you turn on that waiting room? That's totally fine. You can email, Tracy can do it too. I know Tracy knows how to do all of this as well. So just come back to us if you forget how to do something and we'll show you. Okay, so I'm gonna stop and take some questions and then just go over a couple more things after that. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. Does anybody have any questions over this? Anything that they need help with? I see Mallory's got a hand up there. Valerie.
So do we use our BC email address to log in?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you got the Tech Connect email, it should have given you your login credentials right there. Or at least, I think it says something like, it's been so long since I got it. I think it says something like click here to set up your account.
Yeah.
Just follow that. You don't have to use the same password. It's not a single sign-on, so you can choose whatever password you want. I tend to use the same password for everything so I don't forget. But you do need to use your BC email because that's how I set all of you up.
Okay. Perfect.
So
Okay.
you're, and also, when you schedule a session, you're going to be going to the student who has the problem. They're going to be sharing their screen, and that's how you'll get into, the ability to be able to help someone in Canvas. So ask them, initially, they'll be seeing you, but ask them to share their screen. So do you all know how to do that? Okay.
So you guys all know how to use the green screen share. Yeah, because that's the other part of this is that there are times where when the student explains the problem in their email, I sometimes go, I don't think they understand completely what's going on, but there's no way that you know that unless you can see the screen that they're sharing, and what is really happening. Sometimes it's really simple issues that they're making seem like they're bigger issues than they are. So if they can share their screen, you can really see whether they're doing what they say they're doing. And sometimes you'll see, oh, nothing's coming up. That might be an internet issue because their internet is slow, so we're not seeing everything. Or you can suggest if they're using Internet Explorer that they try a different browser or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are the kinds of problems that are just really hard to get to in email. But it would be really easy if they could just share their screen and you could see what they were looking at. I'm trying to think if there's anything else here. So everybody, you see the participant window at the bottom of your screen. That's where you're going to see if somebody is in your waiting room. So if you click on participants right now, it's going to look a little different for you because you're not the host. But once you are, if you have somebody who's waiting in your waiting room, they'll be in that tab, but it will say in waiting room, and then you'll have a button that says admit or admit all. Now, I really want to strongly say there should only be one person coming in to meet with you. They shouldn't be bringing in friends. They should, I mean, it's really just that one person that you're setting up. And don't try to do group sessions or anything. If you've got like 2 people who have the same problem, I don't recommend that. Let's just bring one person in at a time. So there should really only ever be one person waiting in your waiting room. But you click admit, they come in, and then, like I said, 15 minutes, that's as much as I would expect you to spend, 15 to 20, maybe. If somebody's trying to get, some of you guys probably remember, if you were with us last year, there was a lady who was always trying to get people to do her homework for her, and she would come and stand at the hub for like an hour at a time. No, people are laughing. Did any of you ever work with her? I know one of our
I
young
heard the
ladies
story.
worked. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she came a lot actually. She got Professor Jones to help her with her homework at one point. She was here a lot. We don't want that. That's not what these are for. And if somebody is going in that direction after you've helped them, you just kind of politely say, okay, well, I have to go to my next meeting now. And it's good on Zoom because they don't know that you don't have another Zoom scheduled. You could be like, oh, I've got my next one scheduled at this time. So don't let somebody monopolize your time. But I do think that we could solve some problems just by going on Zoom.
And if you have a problematic student who is a continuous pill, email I or Pam, me or Pam, and we will we will address the issue.
Yep.
And if you see someone that you do not want to work with, also let us know. You don't schedule a session. Let us just send me or Pam an email and we'll deal with it.
Yeah, don't let anybody harass you. You absolutely, like, if for some reason somebody gets belligerent or whatever, the same as if we were in person, you absolutely have the right to end the call and be like, I'm sorry, I don't like the way you're speaking to me. And then you just,
Yeah, just
end it.
end it. And
Yeah, hopefully that won't happen. I haven't seen anything like that on email, but again, it's hard to be belligerent on email, I think. I mean, it's not impossible, but
So I guess what I just want to be able to stress to you. So what you're going to do, so the students will see you. I don't think you have to go into your classes. That's your choice, though, and that's why we talk about like if you want to do an example of something that you've done, that's perfectly fine. Just be careful of showing the people block. Don't show the people block that has your classmates in it with their addresses if they show. And that's why we suggest that you screen share or, share screen, go into the students' class. Also, you can see what is being requested of them, and then they can articulate what their problem is.
yeah. And as always, if you don't know how to solve the problem, you can email Tracy. You can. It's fine to ask. Like if you're in the middle of a Zoom and you're like, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, bring us in. Bring us
Yeah.
in.
Now, I can't guarantee we'll be available, but if we are, we'll be happy to pop in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So just to be clear, you guys who didn't get your Zoom accounts, if you would just confirm for me, go in one more time in your email and search Tech Connect and see if you see it. And then if you find it, let me know. If I don't hear from you by this afternoon, I'm going to email them and say, hey, these students still don't have it. Once we start doing this, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask us. Nobody's going to be upset if you're like, oh, I don't remember how to set up a meeting, whatever, because I know it's difficult, especially for you guys who don't have accounts, to remember once your account is set up. Like, oh, they showed us that, but I don't remember. I will send out this video. So once it posts, I will send it to you guys if you have questions. Does anybody else have any questions? Because that's all we've got for you today.